Welcome once again to the Movies and Stuff show. My name is Dan, and joining me is a man who hypothetically took Denver +6 in the Super Bowl. Abe.
That's right. Hypothetically. If anybody from the federal government is watching.
Probably not.
Yeah. Well, then I really did it.
You did. And so you essentially won by 20 points then?
Right. Yeah, it was a nice safe
14 plus 6. Yeah. That was good.
You know, it's too bad I didn't take Denver minus 13.5 points. I wouldn't be doing this anymore, Dan. I'd be on my island somewhere.
Is that possible? Is it even possible to do that?
You can modify things to a degree and get some better odds online. I've never been to a Vegas sports book, so I don't know. But yeah, you can modify it online.
That's something.
Yeah. I don't know if it's. I'm happy. I'm not complaining. Go Denver. I don't say that often. You don't. But when I don't want to spend too much time talking about the game because I'm torn here. I'm torn here because I don't want to say that it was a boring game.
No. Because the Denver defense was so good, and you hate to tear them down for being a good defensive team, but you know what? It was a boring game.
It was a boring game, yeah, because the defenses were doing what they should be doing, is disrupting the offense.
Yeah, but when neither team can convert a third down, it becomes such a snooze fest after a while.
Oh, no argument there. Yeah.
Did you like the game at all?
Oh yeah, of course I liked it. Yeah.
But besides it being boring, it was probably the worst Super Bowl I've ever watched. But it beats watching a lot of things.
I don't know. I remember seeing some of those as just absolute blowouts. I think those were kind of more boring.
Oh, let's see. Ravens-Giants was probably the worst I've ever seen.
I'm thinking who did Denver beat? Or I'm sorry, was it San Francisco, Denver?
San Francisco whooped them
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are some pretty bad ones. Yeah. What do you think about Vegas making a huge mistake on Von Miller's MVP odds?
I thought that was really funny because it was 24-1?
Yeah, 24-1. And I can't think of if Denver wins. They're basically essentially saying Denver's not going to win by doing that. Yeah. Because if Denver wins, who's above him?
Right.
Who's above Von Miller? Because it's not. I mean, I honestly at one point in the game I said it was going to be the kicker, McManus.
Yeah, that's right, you did. Yeah, but it wasn't going to be Peyton. No way. It's just. Have we seen him play this year? Yeah, he's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. I mean, yeah, it had to be Von Miller. I think that was a misstep. You're right. It was the Broncos can't possibly win.
No.
And they paid for it supposedly.
Yeah, and we got a Godzilla fanboy saying that he missed the game, so he has no clue what went on. Oh. We got Jamil saying sloppy play all around. I agree. It was sloppy play, and Cam Newton's getting a lot of crap for not diving for that ball.
I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people that's going to give Cam Newton crap for that.
I'm going to give anybody crap for that. I'm going to give anybody because if you're not going to do it, 17, 18 games, Super Bowl is the game that you do it.
Right.
It doesn't matter at that point.
Well, Cam will certainly do a front back or do a front flip into the end zone for a touchdown in a regular season game. Whoa! I don't want to hurt myself when there's a fumble. Let's just come on, Cam. Come on.
I mean, and I understand because we were kind of quick to basically say that Andy Dalton ruined the Bengals' chances of winning because the fact that he tried to tackle someone after throwing an interception.
Yeah.
But during the Super Bowl, that's when you do it.
If not then, it'll never happen. Yeah.
Because they were still in it at that point. They recovered that fumble. They're still
hypothetically
in it. I mean, that defense was playing so good. I don't know.
Then the next play, Von Miller sacks him and
just breaks his arm at that point.
God.
I don't know. Like it was, it really was not. Wasn't anything that I was super thrilled to watch. And then one of the reasons that people watch is the commercials. And I think it was a record this year for how much people paid for a second of commercial time. $166,000 a second or something ridiculous. A second. And, I mean, once again, I thought commercials were mostly disappointing. I think my favorite was Jason Schwartzman throwing a roll at Dan Marino.
That was the best commercial.
That's the one. It was a surprising reference to The Wire in a Prius commercial.
Yes, it was. I couldn't believe it. All those guys from The Wire season 2 were back together again. Frank, Nikki, and Ziggy. Yep.
So there's that. And, there was a fucking commercial for Scientology.
You said that. I missed it.
Yeah, you walked away from the TV at the time, thankfully. Right, but right. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, and it wasn't like a Dianetics one. It was like a brand new, like we're fresh and new and we're ready to people to join Scientology. I mean, is that the right crowd? The Super Bowl crowd is the right crowd for Scientology? I don't know.
I don't think so. I really don't think so. Yeah.
So we saw a lot of well-known actors though appear. Christopher Walken. He had his walk-in closet. I don't know if anyone noticed that, a walk-in closet commercial.
Yes, I saw that.
Got Sir Anthony Hopkins shilling TurboTax. I think Harvey Keitel was in one.
Oh, he was. Yeah, that's right. Harvey Keitel was in one.
There's a lot of famous, like a lot of like well-known actors and actors.
Helen Mirren. Yeah, that was the big one. Yeah.
And well, she was like in one that was, if I recall, was kind of I don't know, uplifting.
It was the "Don't Drink and Drive" one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean
I think that everybody was just like they missed the point of the commercial. They were just saying, "How old is she again?"
Yeah.
Good job. Good job, Helen. Good job.
Looking good, Helen. I don't know. One that was shown locally, I caught it online, so we didn't see it live. Did you see it? Was Pete Rose promoting gambling and baseball betting in Vegas? Did you see that one?
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I saw it online. It's, they're sitting at a table and there's like kind of a guy that's running a casino, and it's like my this guy with a red hat kind of in shadows, and like my guy needs to know about this gambling blah 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 blah, and the guy's like, oh, it's completely good, and then out of the shadows comes Pete Rose and is like, I'm not going to get in any trouble for this, am I? And it's just like, and then it's like in Vegas where betting on baseball is allowed or something like that. Like it's really bad.
Fucking Pete Rose, man.
It was really bad taste. I mean, it was basically like Pete Rose is like, you know what? I'm not getting back in baseball. Fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's doing like. Oh man.
Well, we've talked about that before. I'm not a fan, and I never want to see him in the Hall of Fame. So yeah fuck him.
Yeah. In general, commercials are not so good. I mean, Jason Schwartzman throwing the roll, definitely my favorite.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that damn the like the snack room of the party area Alec Baldwin had.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Was in.
I want that.
Just, my Super Bowl was really low key. Honestly, I did absolutely nothing. I did nothing. I watched the game.
Oh yeah, well that's what I did too.
Yeah. We're old. We're really old. We're boring. I didn't even eat anything that was bad. Like looking back, it's like, man, I didn't eat anything bad during the Super Bowl.
I don't know what to say. I just shake my head at you. That's
getting old.
Yeah, you are. You are.
Another thing that happened during the Super Bowl, movies happened. It's always something. And it was interesting though, because it was mixed between regular commercials, and there's also like movie commercial tie-ins. That was, they had the Hulk and Ant-Man sharing Pepsi.
Yes, you did.
So you saw that.
Yes.
You had Bruce Wayne flying on Turkish Airlines.
Is Turkish Airlines a real airline?
I believe so.
I have no idea. I just
think so.
Everyone's like, oh, they're selling out. What? I didn't even know Turkish Airlines was real. I figured it was Ra's al Ghul's Airlines or something.
I don't know. I think it's real.
Okay.
I think it was like some kind of tie-in. There was an Independence Day sequel commercial.
Oh yeah.
Which Did you see it or no?
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're just going. It's a full action film. There's no. It doesn't seem fun. Like, it doesn't seem fun at all. It just seems like, oh, we got alien technology spaceships now. Let's go fight the aliens. It's like the original one. Say what you will about it, it had a personality to it.
Oh,
like I don't think it was just a full-on action film. It had a quirkiness to it that, I don't know, you kind of look back, a little bit of nostalgia. It's probably like rose-tinted glasses. It's not a good movie.
Oh no.
Independence Day is not a good movie, but you have you got the speech from Bill Pullman, and you got the drunken Quaid flying
you're right.
the airplane,
right.
and
That's
oh
boy.
Smith and had a good rapport with
Goldblum.
Goldblum. They had a good rapport, and they're smoking the cigars and stuff like that. It was
It had strippers. I mean, come on.
It was you look back and it's like, this one just kind of looks like, oh well, all right, just fighting aliens.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think the Bourne trailer looked all right. Did you see?
I didn't see it. I didn't see that one. Yeah, okay. I've heard good things about it though.
It's another trailer of a kind of a spy franchise that makes Bond look even more old and more tired.
Right.
Yep.
Great. Jamil says the Jungle Book trailer was awesome.
I didn't see that one.
It was good.
Okay.
It was good. Looked good. I really thought. I thought it looked really good. Another one. Did you happen to see the TMNT 2 trailer?
Oh yes, I did.
We have Krang.
I'm excited about that. I am so excited to see Krang. The first one wasn't good, but it really wasn't that bad either. It's TMNT. I mean, yeah, you know what you're getting, and I'm definitely going to watch this one too.
Yeah, I haven't seen the first one.
Well, you won't be able to follow along in the second one, Dan, unless you see the first one.
I don't think I'm going to see the second one either. I'll defer to your judgment to let me know.
All right. Well, you just keep watching Independence Day over and over again. Yeah.
Oh,
leave the heavy lifting to me, Daniel.
Come on! How dare you? How dare you insult the brilliant Harvey Fierstein? I mean, that's just wrong.
He's got to call his mother.
I think Harvey Fierstein should voice one of the Ninja Turtles. He looks like a Donatello. Oh, Leonardo.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, it's perfect. No, but I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be interesting enough to check it out. Krang, that's cool.
I mean, Krang is. Yeah. Bebop and Rocksteady are in this one too.
Yeah, they are. So
yeah, they actually look pretty good from the trailer. They look pretty good.
Gang's back together.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people were just criticizing that in the first one that Shredder just wasn't. It was kind of like overdone at this point, like Shredder as a villain. So Krang is like a breath of fresh air. So it's a brain in like a robotic body. I mean,
from
that's
like
awesome.
the Dimension X or
Dimension
something.
X.
Yes.
Yeah. Dimension X, the Terradrome. I mean, did you? You're older than me. Did you have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys?
No, not toys. I was aware of the cartoon.
You're a little bit older than me. Yeah. So I had all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys.
Yeah.
It was like I had the blimp and the turtle van and the little sewer playset. Like I had them all. Like that was my thing. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was my thing.
Nice.
So I'm surprised I haven't seen the last one. You know.
Oh yeah, you'll get around to it. It's on like Hulu for free. I think.
Is it?
Amazon too? I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll check it out.
It's worth at least a little look. I mean, you'll fall asleep to it or whatever.
But well, just spending the last week powering Carnival.
Yeah.
So now I have some free time, I guess, to watch some movies.
I will tell everybody out there, if you get a chance, and it's on YouTube for free, watch that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like Unleashed or Unlimited, where the turtles are bouncing from all the multiverses where they exist. It goes from the cheesy 90s cartoon to the more updated versions where it's more hardcore, all the way back to the black and white comic. The turtles bounce around to all these different kinds of universes. It's actually really clever. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's free on YouTube. What are you going to do?
Yeah. I mean, you can't beat that. Free. That's like our show.
Free.
That's why people watch it. It's free.
That's the only reason.
I mean, if we charge for this, no one would watch it. Our ratings would plummet.
Yeah, it would. But, free.
Yeah, we don't even have commercials. we've got breaks, which is a great opportunity for me to say, let's take a little break.
There you go.
Make sure that you like our video, comment below, subscribe to our channel. Take a quick break. When we return, we're going to break down what we think to be the top 10 films from the early 70s. So that's 1970 to 1974. Stay tuned. And welcome back to the Movies and Stuff show. We were talking about the top 10 films from the early 70s. That means 1970 to 1974. At a later date, we will do 75 to 79. It's really tough to discuss the 70s in one list.
You can't do it.
I don't think you can. I mean, it was tough enough to do 70 to 74. I was on Facebook and I saw some comments on there about movies that we left off, and we'll give them a shout out later on after we've kind of discussed ours. But, breaking it up into two lists, I think the only way we can do it. I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off. You can see right there on the screen scrolling. My number 5 is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And, for years, that was my favorite horror film. And in the last few years, it's kind of moved to number 2 behind Alien, but I still think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a tremendous film. It's just amazingly shot. The pacing is fantastic. It's a terrifying film. You hear the title and you think it's going to be a bloodfest, but it's not. Yeah. And I think that's what makes it even more terrifying. It's so well done. The tension builds when you see that crazy fucking family.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
People out there exist. They exist, people. I've been through West Virginia. They exist.
I've never been to West Virginia, so I don't know if they exist or not, but these fuckers are pretty scary. Yeah.
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 And you a fan of Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Huge. Yeah. Yeah. I've watched it probably, every Halloween, I think at least some point, try and check it out. It's such a good movie. It's just, you can feel the dirt. You can feel the grime. And that's just so wonderful about it. And oddly enough, it already started the trope where the victims are wholly unlikable. It just didn't make the monsters quite likable yet.
It's true. Like the kind of brother that's in the wheelchair.
Yes,
he was probably one of the most unlikable victims in a horror film ever. If we ever did that list, the people that we just wanted to die in horror films, he'd be at the top.
He would be.
Yeah.
It's a great pick, though. Yeah, no doubt. And just people's reaction of fainting and and throwing up, just in theater and leaving. I don't know if it's true or if it was just marketing,
right?
But it just adds to the whole aura of the film.
The aura, yeah,
yeah,
well, it does, yeah.
You done?
Yeah. Even though it wasn't quite a massacre, there was some Texas Chainsaw in it. So,
all right, my number 5, The French Connection.
Good one.
Come on.
Good one. I mean, I think I told you when I was coming up with my list or whatever, it's like, French Connection just missed. Like, it's really tough to not include this in the top 10. If we're doing top 10, you have to include French Connection. And it's great. Great film.
Yeah. It's just Popeye Doyle. Gene Hackman is just so perfect in that movie, and it really captures that. And I'm going to say it again: the grimy feel of being a cop in such terrible conditions. It's wonderful, and it's got one of the most iconic car chase scenes of all time.
I would say, if not the most, top 2, top 3.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, it's just fantastic. It's one of those things too. It's like you see. Well, I've never seen them. You see movies like those car movies, the Vin Diesel car movies.
Oh, Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious, and it's like people are like the great car stunts and great still pales in comparison to what they did in French Connection. I mean, technology's better, the cars are faster, the cars are better. Doesn't matter. French Connection did it better.
Well, the cars are faster because they've got them tricked out on nitro. Give me a car from the 1970s that weighs 2 tons versus any car now.
Well, that's how you get through a show. You're just tricked out on nitro.
That's true.
or monster, whatever. Ah, ha, ha.
Yeah, fuck you, Leo. It's still more powerful. But yeah, French Connection, everybody. If for somehow you have not seen it, you have to see it. If that's even possible. All right. Ready?
I'm ready. Let's do my next one. And my number 4 would be Chinatown. Forget it, Abe. It's Chinatown.
Yeah, how could you not?
And I first saw this film back in high school, and I just absolutely loved it. And I'm not one of those Polanski forgivers. I'm not one of those guys that like, oh, well, he was a great filmmaker, so I don't like that. Let's just take that out of the equation right now. Talk about just the film. He made a terrific film here. It's a great mystery. It's a great noir. Nicholson, Dunaway, just fantastic performances. I love the twists and turns. It's just stylistically it's a great looking film. The sequel, you don't have to watch the sequel. The two Jakes. You don't have to.
I never have.
Yeah, you don't need to. There's no need to. Let Chinatown live in its own little awesome universe because a great film. And it's kind of not loosely based off of, but kind of surrounding a real story about California and it's cool. It's that time period was just really great to look at and
yeah.
It's
You're right on, though. That's the brilliance of Chinatown. At least part of it, in my mind, is not about money. I mean, it is indirectly, but it's about water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's genius. Yeah.
Right. And in many ways, like I feel like it's this movie's kind of almost related to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I grew up loving Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I feel like a kindred spirit between Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Chinatown in regards to the style and the look of it, and then just not a similar story, but parallels and things like that. Yeah. When I first saw Chinatown, this is well after I saw Who Framed Roger Rabbit, I was just kind of like, this kind of feels like Who Framed Roger Rabbit to me. and of course, like Chinatown was out a little bit before Who Framed Roger Rabbit, so I guess that should get there. But I like those kind of like mystery novels, and I like those kind of like detective type things, and this one's just really done, and it just unravels different things as it goes on. And
it does. Yeah,
the big reveal, of course, is a big kind of like shocking moment.
Yeah, we're not going to spoil 45.
No, I don't want. Well, I mean, we could spoil 45. Godzilla fanboy is begrudgingly admitting that Chinatown is a masterpiece.
Whoa, begrudgingly.
Oh, man. All right, yep. I love LA Confidential too, Godzilla fanboy. I do. LA Confidential is one of my favorite movies of all time. I absolutely love it. So it's great stuff.
Oh, boy. And Jack's coming to the party too. He's going to tell you everything that's wrong with your picks. I know that.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
Great.
All right. I'm going to move on to my number 4, Straw Dogs.
All right.
This was a tough pick. There's no doubt. I mean, I almost picked Frogs, but I had to go with Straw Dogs instead. This is an ugly film. This is a mean film. This is a disturbing film. And just on the surface, it could be just nothing but exploitive trash. But there's a lot more working on this film than just on the surface. There's so many levels of what Dustin Hoffman did. He bring this on himself? I think the movie asked that question. Does Susan George? I mean, she has some very conflicted feelings going on in this movie. Fascinating piece. I don't want to say anything because I know this is. I'm sure a good portion of you have not seen it. Trigger warnings, everybody. I usually say that mockingly. This movie actually is a trigger warning. Watch it very carefully if you're going to do it, because Peckinpah doesn't pull any punches. He's one of my favorite directors. I think he's one of the most underrated directors. I think Wild Bunch is probably the second best Western ever made, if not the second best movie in the 60s ever made. Peckinpah is brutal and he's unflinching, and yeah, if you want to be disturbed, you should watch this movie.
Yeah, it's It's something.
Yeah.
And honestly, you talking about Peckinpah right here made me realize that I missed one on my list.
Oh shit! What'd you?
Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia.
That's a fantastic one too.
Fucking forgot about. I forgot it was 1974. Like Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. Great fucking movie. Absolutely love it. I think it's a. It's so tough. It's so tough. I left that movie out of my top 5, and I still couldn't even fit in French Connection. And when we get further down the list, there's ones that this is tough.
The 70s is tough. It's such a dense decade. Yeah.
Man. Well, all right. I guess we'll just move on to my next one because this is one that has to be on my list as well.
Okay.
Mean Streets.
There you go.
I'm going to say something might be controversial here. I'm going to use the word perhaps to save myself, though.
Okay.
I think Mean Streets is perhaps the most influential film that came out of the 70s.
I'm glad you threw perhaps in there. I'm really glad you threw perhaps in there.
I think it just influenced so many films and TV shows, the procedural crime dramas even, and just the, cop stories. I just think so much just, kind of any crime-centric thing that came out after that had Mean Streets' DNA in it. And, none of them have come close to matching in the tone and style of it. And you have De Niro and Keitel, David Preval, fantastic. And it's one of Scorsese's best films. And it's just, Jesus. Just doing a top 5 of his films would be killer for me to do.
It would be, yeah.
Like, I'm thinking about it, and it's just like, where does Mean Streets rank against Raging Bull? Where does it go against Goodfellas? And man.
King of Comedy is terribly underrated too, Dan.
Oh, and a little movie called Taxi Driver.
Oh, yeah.
That might show up in a future episode when we do our
spoilers.
do our other list. Mean Streets, I don't know if it gets as much credit as it should, or maybe it gets too much credit. I don't know. It could be both. I love Mean Streets, though.
It's a good one. All right, my number 3.
All right.
The Exorcist. This, I know you went with Texas Chainsaw. I had to go with The Exorcist. This is the horror movie in my mind. This is the horror movie. There's something so unsettling about this movie all the time throughout it. Those scenes in Iraq in the beginning just really set a tone that just puts you at complete unease. And I can't even fully explain how or why it works. I know it does. You're unsettled throughout this entire film. And then it just gets worse and worse and worse. Yeah, it's a classic. It's just, maybe it's too exploitive to do this to a little girl. I don't know, but man, it's effective.
Yeah, I'm really torn on The Exorcist. I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it quite a few times, and I don't know. It didn't have the impact on me in later viewings as it did on the earlier viewings. I don't know for me if it holds up over repeat viewings, but I could say, I think there really is this whole, from a religious standpoint too, and I think you probably grew up a little bit more religious than I did.
Yeah.
I think there's that kind of connection with the fear, in a way, and I think there is so much fear that's inherently built into religion, and it's kind of a shitty thing to say, because it's like, well, you have the devil, you have these demons, and you're essentially possessing this little girl with the devil, I think that's the impact of it too, and it's not a bad movie. I don't think it's well made. It's well acted. It just didn't have the impact for me over repeat viewings that I would think that it should have.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think horror and comedy, I think, diminish their impact from right out of the gate. Once you see it once, I think they definitely lose their impact.
I don't say that about Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Really?
No.
I mean,
I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre to me feels the same, maybe even a little bit more terrifying as I get older.
Fair enough.
I've seen West Virginia. Keep going back to that. West Virginia is a beautiful state. Don't get me wrong. Driving through the mountains of West Virginia, absolutely stunning. I did a road trip once from Jersey down to Kentucky and drove through West Virginia, and it was beautiful. But then you start driving and you look into those woods and you see like things moving around in the woods that they're not bears that's living back there.
I think Deliverance is more your fear than Texas.
I think so. I think they're interconnected in a way. No, I mean, I'm good with Exorcist though being on the list though. I'm not going to complain about that one.
All right, here you go.
Clockwork Orange. I mean, it's tough for me not to have a Kubrick film in every decade up until the 90s. Like honestly. Like I'll throw. If we ever did a best films of the '90s, I'd throw Eyes Wide Shut in there. It's like Kubrick's the man, and this was my introduction to Kubrick. Strangelove's my favorite. I mentioned that before. 2001, I think, is Kubrick's best made film. Clockwork Orange, though, it's just one of the best films ever made. And it's amazing to look at the sets in the film and just look at the idea of what's considered modern apartments. You think of like, you flip through like an IKEA magazine of what's a modern apartment, and it's just the set from Clockwork Orange. So that's really it. There's no difference. Yeah. Story and acting, it's just top notch. It's violent. It's disturbing. It tackles a lot of social and political issues. It tackles problems with youth. It openly mocks psychiatric issues and how they're treated. Like it just gives a big FU to like the idea of like, in a way like medicating the troubled youth or, shocking them or whatever. It just really just says fuck you to that. And I think it's such a wonderful soundtrack. I think some of the most memorable images ever put to film in Clockwork Orange. I mean, Sing in the Rain. Yeah. Singing in the rain, making, a rape scene like that to be just etched in your brain forever, but not because of the rape,
because of the song.
It's because of everything else going on in it.
Yeah,
it's a horrifying in a way. Like it's really
absolutely
terrifying.
Oh yeah. It was a little bit seeing the future a little bit with such jaded people casually committing violence against each other. And the songs are all just remixed into electronica. If it was a coffee bar instead of a milk bar, it would have been spot on.
Yeah, see? Yeah. You're right. You're totally right. And, well, I mean, you drink your coffee black, though, right?
I do drink my coffee black.
So I can't even say coffee, milk. It doesn't always go together.
No, it doesn't always go together.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. It's a fantastic film. McDowell just knocked it out of the park with that. Just tremendous. Kubrick he was really on his game at this point in his career. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, I appreciate that this was my first one. I was 13 at the time.
Yeah. Wow.
When I saw Clockwork, and I think great story too. We mentioned it on the air on my old podcast. My old co-host Nick actually convinced our high school history teacher to show this in a class. Like it was like end of the school year, and we were just like, "Oh, anyone have a film to put on?" He's like, "I do." And we watched all of Clockwork. And the fact is, it had to be split up over like 2 class periods. So we watched it one day, and then finished watching it the second day.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, it was great. It's fantastic.
Excellent. All right. Moving on. Number 2. Aguirre, The Wrath of God. This is it, man. This is a fantastic movie. Basically, it feels like if you took... it feels like a Werner Herzog documentary. He just basically took a camera crew down into the 1500s with Spanish conquistadors and watched them try and just navigate through this horrible environment. They're just not, they don't belong there. They shouldn't be there. Just dragging along all their equipment and their slaves, just searching for, whatever they can find, gold. I mean, it's just horrible. But it really makes you feel like it's there because of the low-tech way they shot it. Just a handheld documentary feel. Tremendously acted, tremendously shot. It's just a wonderful film. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. I shamefully, not very. I can't say read up, filmed up on Werner Herzog, and I would like to correct that. I know that this is one that is really great, and I've seen a lot of great things about this film. I do want to see it. I kind of want to really well, I've mentioned this a couple of times. That's the beauty of our show is we can watch these films. So maybe
we can.
We'll add it to the list. We'll find a conquistador to talk to.
Yeah, I can't even tell you that I'm a huge Herzog fan, but this one just really connects.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on. Drum roll. This is it.
See, Godfather Part 2.
There you go.
My number one. I got to see this during a summer showing at the AMC 25 in New York City about 15 years ago. So I got to see it on the big screen. Such a memorable experience. It's one of those movies that I think you kind of have to see on the big screen to really. I don't say you have to see it on the big screen to really appreciate it for what it's worth, but it's one of those things that when you see it on the big screen, it just makes it even larger than life. Like I saw Citizen Kane on the big screen.
Mm-hmm.
And as great as people say that movie is, seeing it on the big screen makes it even better. And I think like the Godfather films, 1 and 2, those are the only two Godfather films. 1 and 2, yeah, you see them on the big screen and it really just makes it, so much more special. And I love the backstory of Vito Corleone and Godfather II. I think the parallels to Michael's rise to running the family business. And I mean, De Niro puts forth yet another amazing performance. Would you say that De Niro is the best actor from the 70s?
No, I'd say it's Gene Hackman, personally.
You think Gene Hackman?
But De Niro's right there, too, yeah.
I mean, you had Mean Streets, you had Taxi Driver, you had Godfather Part 2. I mean, De Niro was...
Yeah,
hell of it. I mean, it's hard to argue. Gene Hackman's great, too. But,
right.
Looking at De Niro now and doing those bad grandpa movies, it's just like, De Niro, why? I know he's got to eat and all, but still.
Yeah. He's like an old athlete who's just lost his past his prime.
I mean, at least Hackman's like, I'm done.
What he went out with Tannenbaums, right?
I think Tannenbaums was the last one.
Yeah.
What a way to go out.
Yeah.
You talk about going out on top. Like that's better than Peyton Manning right here.
Absolutely.
Except for Manning's last year in the league, slumping along for the Los Angeles Rams next year.
We don't need to get into that. But yeah, no.
But
Godfather 2. It's fantastic, and the only reason I didn't put it on my list for number one, I think there's two reasons, but the reason it didn't make my list as number one, I'm going to just flip over to my number one. Godfather. The reason I prefer number one is because I feel like number one is a tighter story, a better told story. When I first watched Godfather Part 2, I was bored kind of with the Michael stuff, and I just wanted to see the Vito stuff. As I've gotten older, I'm like, I don't need more Vito. I just want to see what Michael does.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the one thing I love about Godfather Part 2, and again, it's a flip of the coin with Godfather 2 and Godfather 1 for me. It's really splitting hairs there when you talk about which one is the better film. To me, what I like about Godfather Part 2, it just tackles such an insane scope with ease. It's just visually stunning. It's so well acted. I mean, really memorable. And I love the first Godfather movie. I think, the ability to integrate that whole Vito flashback story so successfully is the main reason I go back to 2 over 1. That's that. I'm not going to argue.
Yeah.
If anyone says 1 is better than 2, I'm not going to argue with it because I think you're right. I do think the story is much tighter. I think it's probably more accessible. I think Godfather Part 1 is more accessible than Godfather Part 2. I don't think you can jump into Godfather Part 2 if you haven't seen Part 1 and truly, love it as much. I think you need 1 to really love 2.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Whereas I think you can watch 1 and it's I mean, there's just so many, quotable, memorable, like iconic scenes in one. It's splitting hairs.
And it's telling that they can just re-edit all three movies into a chronological story, and you're not losing a whole lot. It's one epic story. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, let's kind of go over some things that we might have missed in our list. Going over to Facebook, Tim loves to comment on Facebook. He puts Vanishing Point in there.
It's a good one.
Good one. Blazing Saddles.
Ooh, yeah.
Can't believe we forgot that one. 74.
That's a
74.
Yeah.
He says Jaws. Jaws is 75, so there's still time for us to talk about that maybe. But he says Vanishing Point is a great chase movie with a weird, trippy ending that I still don't understand. I guess it's bleak 70s cynicism. So that is what Tim says. Let's go back over to our live feed on anything on the live feed that I've missed is people yelling at me.
Jamil agrees with me. He says I'm a genius. So,
well,
yeah,
genius.
Yeah, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he said genius. Yeah.
Maybe he's a genus. Maybe he's part of a species of some sort.
There you go.
I don't know. Super tough. Super tough to do this list, I think. Man.
Yeah. Jamil wants conversation in the list again. He says the conversation's fantastic. Yeah.
Conversation's really great.
It's good. Another Gene Hackman classic. I feel like we didn't get Jack Nicholson enough love in this particular section. I think he gets more love in the next section too.
I think so. I think he'll kind of bounce back.
I think so.
I think he bounced back. Well, I give him Chinatown though.
Yeah. Chinatown's great. He did so many classics. Cuckoo's Nest, the Last Detail, just fantastic stuff too from him.
Yeah. I think in general, like a lot of people overlook Jack in many ways, and it's kind of like crazy to think that he could be an overlooked actor. It's because he's such a larger than life personality.
He was an actor at one point before he became a personality.
Yeah, and now DiCaprio is just essentially just trying to be him. Remember when Christian Slater was trying to be Jack Nicholson?
Oh, no.
Like, everything he was doing was so, like in Heathers, he was I'm Jack, and it seems so forced.
Right.
But I think even looking at Leo, you look at Leo, and you see Jack, and now he's vaping, just like Jack.
Yeah, just like Jack. Yes.
Could you imagine if Jack started vaping? Yeah.
No, I can't. Jack's a cigarette man.
Well, I can see by the YouTube is the feed is acting up, so I guess we'll use that as an opportunity to wrap up and close out our show. You got anything else, Lego?
No, that's pretty much it for me. No, that's it. I'm happy with our lists. I think it's a pretty good list.
All right, so close out another episode of the Movies and Stuff show. Check back again next week. We're going to talk about the TV series Carnival. We did an awesome interview with creator of the show, Dan Knopf, so we'll air that. I mean, it's awesome. It's a lot of content. It's a lot of content. As always, please make sure to like this video, comment below, subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Abe, final words.
Sorry, guys. Serpico and Dog Day Afternoon, overrated. Ooh.
Burned.
Talk to you later.